Here's an example of betrayal. A girl named left a message on my boyfriend's Facebook page saying that she loved him. I find out that he called her and they were talking. After badgering him about what they were talking about, he finally lets me know that he told her he loved her, but he didn't mean it. I became even more upset and start smacking him across the face, yelling and crying, "How could he do this to me? He just keeps saying he doesn't know," and I continue yelling and crying until finally waking myself out from the dream. Ouch. In this dream, I was friends with my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. We were hanging out at my house. We were having fun singing karaoke. Every time I looked at her, I thought very few girls are as beautiful as she is. Then my boyfriend comes over. I was glad there was no awkwardness between us. Then my boyfriend wanted to take a picture with her. Then I got all jealous and pulled him aside to ask him if he thought she was prettier than me. I was giving him a lot of attitude and I knew it, but I didn't care because of the position we were in. I had every right to be jealous and bitchy. He ignored my question and ignored me for the night. Then when I confronted him again, he told me he was very turned off by my attitude and my behavior. I was left questioning my behavior and wondering if maybe I overreacted. So we can see how this kind of dream can produce a difference in the next day's interaction. Let's look at a few more. In my dream, I was on the side of a pool with some famous actress. She was in a red one-piece bathing suit, like some kind of lifeguard. We were on a diving board that was up really high in the air. She was sitting on it and pulling me towards her. I knew that I could not touch her, so I tried to resist it. I believe I succeeded in doing so. I remember it being extremely difficult to pull away from her. Here's another dream involving infidelity. I had met this wonderful, cute, and affectionate guy. He gave me attention, gifts, and wanted to meet my parents. He even said he wanted to marry me someday. One particular part I remember best. He took me to this extravagant store. It was all gold and silver. He gave me jewelry to try on with his beautiful champagne dress. I felt so happy in the entire dream that I didn't want to wake up. I think some evolutionary psychologists might have something to say about that. Here's one that involves infidelity and conflict with the partner. I was at a party with my fraternity brothers with a bunch of sorority girls I knew from school. I remember being called constantly from my girlfriend checking up on me. It got to the point where we got into a fight because I told her she didn't trust me. I ended up getting beyond drunk and hooking up with some random girl. I brought her back to my house where we had sex. I remember feeling guilty before it went down, but satisfied after. Here, and I know, it looks like the Jersey Shore in these dreams, but they're not all bad. We're going to end on some positive notes here. I dreamt I was at a carnival with my girlfriend. She likes them, and we decided to go to one that stopped in our town. We were having lots of fun and running around kissing and tickling each other. We played the whack-a-mole game and she kept beating me even though I thought I was winning by a lot. In the end, she still won a big teddy bear as a prize, which is apparently what she wanted, so I was happy. Aww. This was a memory. It was our first date and we were watching Saw 2 around November. I was so scared of the movie I kept ducking my head into his shoulder and squeaking when some gory part appeared. He just laughed and comforted me. Somewhere in the middle of the movie, I rested my head on his shoulder, and he put his arm around me and kissed me. He was sweet, and I remember feeling tingly. We continued to kiss and hug each other. This is the last one we'll look at. I dreamt of the future. I don't remember much, but I know I'd become a teacher of psychology at my old high school. I had come home, and my wife, current girlfriend, was home, and she was cooking dinner. When I walked in, she hugged me from behind and said, "Hey, stranger." She gave me a kiss in the cheek and slipped into the kitchen again. We started talking about our days at work. It was weird because I became a teacher, which is something that she wanted to be, and she became a relationship counselor, which is something I wanted to do. I was complaining about how stupid some kids are, and she was laughing and talking about how she had some crazy couples. I remember laughing with her about all our stories, and then we laid down for the night on the couch and watched TV. So the news is not all bad for dream content. Here is an illustration of how frequent these kind of dreams actually happen in the sample that we collected. Remember, we had 842 total dreams reported. We had 54 dreams containing an argument or conflict, so that's about 6%, and a little bit over half of people in our sample had at least one of those dreams. Dreams that involved an alternative, about 13%, 106 dreams, and again, a little bit above half the sample had at least one of those dreams. Dreams that involved infidelity, 75, 9%, and a little bit less than half of the sample had at least one of those dreams. Infidelity involving the partner, a little bit less frequent, 28 dreams or 3%, and 30% of people had at least one of those dreams. And in terms of general positive interaction, we see, thankfully, those outweigh the infidelity dreams. 102 or 12%, and 2/3 of the sample have at least one of those. And in case these numbers don't seem all that impressive, keep in mind that when people dream, they're dreaming about all kinds of things. You know, they're dreaming about work, they're dreaming about school, they're dreaming about family. So it stands to reason that we should not expect to see these, you know, every other day. We should expect to see them sometimes, but not necessarily dominating all dream content.
So can you go back to that for a second?
Yeah, sure.
So the way they're coded, if we add up those percents and whatever's remaining was non-relational, or they could have been coded into multiple categories?
Yeah, so there could be an argument and a conflict and infidelity in the same dream.
So the comment that you just made was that, you know, there are a lot of other things we could dream about too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any sense in your sample what proportion of all dreams were about relationships?
Well, we have 220 that involve the romantic partner, and you know that represents about 1/4 of the dreams. And then some others may or may not involve alternative partners. In terms of you're talking about wrapping them all together and saying, you know, how much is relational in total. That I would have to go back and calculate, because there's a lot of overlap.
Interesting to know because of what you just said, which is, you know, we have a lot of the things we could dream about.
Yeah.
What's the difference between alternative partner and infidelity?
Okay, good question. Adela and I decided that it was not necessarily fair to code a dream for infidelity just because there is an alternative present. Some dreams people have, they just report running into someone that they previously dated and nothing happens, and there was no sign of attraction or, you know, cheating behavior or anything like that.
So like the example of talking to the ex on the computer, like that would
well,
be...
that was an example of behavior that was, you know,
infidelity?
Definitely on the border of infidelity, yes.
Okay.
And there's definitely attraction, there's definitely temptation there. But not all of those dreams got coded that way. Yeah.
Did you have a look at to continuity in dream content per individual, like whether there is a correspondence or continuity in terms of what type of dream was seen by each individual?
Yes, that's what we're about to look at actually. That's what I'm getting to right now. So when we're trying to predict the dreams that people have in terms of the content, we can use multi-level logistic regression. So we're basically predicting the likelihood of certain content appearing or not appearing. The first analysis I have up there is predicting dreams that contain the romantic partner. So again, this is either a 1 or a 0, and it turns out that the level 1 closeness and love that people feel on a given day does predict the likelihood of having a dream with your partner in it. So on a day where you experience more love and closeness, you're more likely to have a dream with the partner in it. In terms of dreams containing an alternative partner, we don't see any level 1 effects. We don't see any effects of the previous day, but we do see an effect of general interdependence. So here are some contrasting results, and I'll talk about what they mean in a second, but first I want to go into these results. Dreams that predict positive interaction with the partner. We see, again, the effect of increased feeling of love and closeness during the day predicts an increase in the likelihood of having such a dream. If we look at dreams that involve infidelity, we don't see any daily effects. All we see is the, again, negative association with interdependence. So the degree to which people feel generally satisfied and committed is going to predict the less likelihood of dreaming of infidelity. Dreaming of a partner's infidelity, the only effect that I found was with attachment avoidance. People who scored higher in avoidance were more likely to have a dream where